Wow.
Soccer salaries are often referred to in the media over here by the week. That is more commonplace than them being referred to with their overall total. For instance, Alexis Sanchez, who's actually having a terrible go of it at Manchester City, he's making £315,000 weekly. See, they list the top 5 paid soccer players in the Premier League by their weekly earnings. Interesting.
£315,000, which is, I close that.
Yeah, it's about 350 probably.
350,000
like that.
American dollars in a week. 50K a day.
Yeah.
50K a work day.
Yeah. Nice work if you can get it.
Yeah. That's impressive, to say the very least. All right, I want to take a break. I want to talk some Royals baseball, how they're going about building the team. Danny Clinkscale is with us. He's brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. It is where I have turned to get my roof repaired. They love to repair roofs. They're happy to repair roofs where a lot of other roof companies don't have any interest because it's not the high end. They just want to put new roofs on. Not Easton Roofing. They're happy to help you out with any roofing need you need. 913-257-5426. You can look them up online at eastonroofing.com. More with Danny Clinkscale from DannyClinkscale.com, where there's always tons of great content. And, of course, Easton Roofing, a proud sponsor of DannyClinkscale.com as well. You can see his European travels there. We'll take a break. More with Danny next here in the program.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're here with Joe Spiker of Easton Roofing. And, Joe, oftentimes people will wait to replace their roof until there is a weather event. What should they know about that?
Well, Danny, the important thing to remember is if you're going to turn in a claim to your insurance company, you want to make sure that you actually have damage on your home. If you turn in a claim to your insurance company and they send an insurance adjuster out, it's going to be a claim whether they give you $1 or $10,000. So it's important to make sure that you actually have damage on your home before you turn that claim in. And all you have to do is give us a call. We'll come out, take a look, and make sure there's real damage, and we'll tell you if there's not. Maybe it's just a small repair and it's not worth a claim. So it's always smart to get somebody you trust to make sure there's damage before you turn in a claim.
Quality advice and guidance from Easton Roofing, where integrity matters.
All right, we're talking to Danny Clinkscale. Danny Unleashed here on a Friday. He is coming to us live from Francais. He is brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. Remember, be careful if you've got some roofer knocking on your door saying, hey, we've got some damage up on your roof. You can put it into the insurance company. They don't care. A lot of these insurance companies will go around. They do it to 10 different people. They get one roofing job. It makes them money. The 9 other folks now have a claim, a false claim that they have filed. It can be a real problem in the future if you have a real claim. This is a bad situation to be in. Go with a great, honest roofing company like Easton Roofing. They'll come tell you the truth and let you know if all you need is a tune-up or maybe nothing at all. Make sure you have damage before you turn in a claim. Call Easton Roofing right now at 913-257-5426. They are happy to come out and give you an inspection and make sure that you actually need a claim before you go turning in a false claim. Go to eastonroofing.com, or for more information, call 913-257-5426. eastonroofing.com. Danny Clinkscale with us here on our Sprint guest line. And, Danny, the Royals, we were talking about the payroll makeup in baseball of the playoff teams, and year after year we do this, and it always seems to be about the same. Top 10 teams, middle 10 teams, and bottom 10 teams. There are about as many playoff clubs that come in, usually right at the same, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, out of the middle tier as there are in the top 10. Now, part of that is because the top 10 a lot of times might be a team that's blown up its payroll chasing the championship, and now the players have aged out. They've gotten old, and so then they're overpriced guys, and they're having to live through. They're paying the check on what it was they were doing to try to keep a good nucleus together. A team like the San Francisco Giants would be an example of that. Years of trying to keep everything together has made them a very expensive club, even though they're not very good. Let's see who else is up there in that kind of. Giants are the 5th highest payroll. The Nationals maybe is the 6th highest payroll, although I think that team should be better than what they look like right now. Bottom line is, though, this year There are 5 teams out of the 11 teams that right now would play a game after 162 because there's a tie in the National League. There are 5 teams in the top 10, 5 teams in the middle 10, 1 in the bottom 10. That's the Rays, who have the 30th biggest payroll in baseball. The moral of the story is if Dayton Moore wants to do what he says, and that's rebuild this team to where it's a contender year after year after year, they got to get up into that middle 10 and stay up in that middle 10, and that means developing better pitching and trading better. Those are the 2 things that I think they've got to do better this time around than last time. Do you agree?
I would agree with that, certainly. They also, have to have drafted better. I won't say draft better now because one of the keys to their team in the next few years is those 3 basically first-round draft picks that they had who were all pitchers that they picked. And, you need probably one to be really good and one to be a, significant piece, maybe even out of the bullpen, and maybe the other guy doesn't make it, whatever. But, they just had too many empty fires of the cannon in the draft. Now, some of those look like they might be actually finally reaping some reward for them. Certainly Hunter Dozier seems to be in that category, and Bubba Starling maybe potentially could be approaching that category. We'll see. But, those big misses from Eric Hosmer on were a big part of it. And as you said, the trades, a couple of the trades they made did not pan out, and maybe they will in Jorge Soler, but a couple of them were really bad. I think those 2 things are absolutely important for them. I think it was a great breakdown of the whole situation by Sam Mellinger in the Star today, and I also give a heads up for people there sort of repurposing both Sam and Vahe's columns that they've written over the past few years about their moms for Mother's Day, and those are both fantastic reads. Just a little heads up on that.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Those guys do a great job. How many of the pieces do you think we went through? Royals Review, I think, had a breakdown of the roster of the Royals, and basically they took the time to put the Royals players into tiers. What was it? Was it bad veterans?
Yeah, bad veterans.
Yeah,
just guys or something like that.
Yeah, and core pieces, the old guard. I'm bringing it up right now. I've got it here. So they broke it down to core players, potential pieces, just guys, the old guard, and bad veterans. Who would be your core players right now on this roster?
Certainly Dozier and Mondesi. Probably Merrifield still because he's young enough.
Yep.
Alex Gordon has bounced back to play better, but I don't think you really see him being part of the future necessarily, although he obviously keeps himself in fantastic shape. And then I think, to me those are – and then the pitching part of it has seemed to go a little sideways so far this year with Keller and Junis, but you still want them to be part of the core. Whether they can be or not, that remains to be seen. I think one key, however, for a team like the Royals is to have some of the things pop up that maybe we've seen one of so far and only in a short sample size. But, if you get guys like Kelvin Gutierrez to be a significant factor where you maybe didn't plan on him, then I think that that can really boost you. And it appears to me like they really truly believe, and his performance would indicate that so far, that Nicky Lopez is part of that core as well. So I think those are a few of the names. I think you might have said Junis and Keller for sure before the season, but that's just regressed a tiny bit. So I don't know if you want to include them in that right now.
Dozier, Merrifield, Mondesi, Keller, and Lovelady are the only 5 they put in there. They put Junis in there as a potential piece. I'd actually put Keller as potential piece. I think those guys are 4s and 5s. I mentioned Jeff Suppan as a pitcher. I'd like those guys to be. And you'd have thought I said, I hope those guys are mutts that are covered in feces. Jeff Suppan was good. Won an NLCS MVP for crying out loud. En route to a world championship. The aces of this staff are going to have to come out of that last draft class if there's going to be one in here. Danny, we're running short on time. Always a great conversation. You're going to be back stateside next week?
I will indeed. You'll have to look at my lovely face.
Sounds good. Danny Clinkscale with us every week with Danny Unleashed.
This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like Easton Roofing. The presenting sponsor of Kansas City Profiles at the Danny Klingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Easton Roofing, where integrity matters.
We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Klingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new.